afternoon, everyone. My name is Eva Kellnerová. I'm the student recruitment coordinator here at CERGE-EI, and I'm very happy to welcome you here today at our open day. As you can see on the slide behind me, we have a very busy program, so I'm not going to give the floor to our first two speakers who will introduce our institution. Marek Kapička, the director of CERGE-EI, and Stanislav Anatolyev, the deputy director for graduate studies.
We are also professors, by the way.
Yes.
This is a job.
Yes.
All right. So welcome, everyone. My name is Marek Kapička, and I'm the director of CERGE-EI. So I'm going to give you kind of a broader picture about what we are. So CERGE-EI was founded in 1991 with the idea of bringing a U.S.-style education to Central Europe. And originally, it was only a PhD program, and we've added the Meyer program, the master's program later. The fact that we are a U.S.-style education in Central Europe is kind of unique. It's certainly unique in the Czech Republic, but also in the broader region. And for you as prospective students, this has several benefits or highlights, I would say, that are attractive to you. So first of all, we have a very high standard for hiring our faculty. So if you look at our website, our faculties have PhD from the very top places in the US and in Europe. And there are people who are well known in their fields of expertise. They are known in the economics profession. They've made their marks through their research, and they've published papers. And that's good for you because frankly, it's much more interesting to take courses from people who are at the research frontier and know what's going on in the profession than someone who is way behind. So that's useful for you when you're taking courses, but it's also useful for you when you later on communicate with our faculty and do your own work. What we also have is an environment that's very collegial in terms of how faculty and students communicate and how the faculty supports students in their research, and so that's especially true for the PhD, but also for the master's program. So we have a whole ecosystem how to provide support for students, starting with brown bags, workshops, frequent communication between faculty and students. Overall, if you come, you would find it that this is a fairly relaxed place where it's very easy to talk to faculty and communicate with them. And so what we're trying to do is to provide the students with a lot of feedback on their research and feedback how to sharpen their ideas and make it easier to communicate. So that's something, if you go into academia later on, that's useful, but it's also useful for whatever work you will do later. It's as you probably have noticed by looking at the screen and the people around you, this is also a very international environment. Not just faculty, but also students. So, of course, everything we do is taught in English, but it's not just the classes. It's just your whole life is basically going to be in English here, and that's something when I talk to students, they say, "Oh, this is very very valuable for us." The whole system is very international. So we have students from how many countries?
Over 30.
Over 30 countries. So truly a lot of diversity here, and we're trying to integrate, especially in the PhD program. We try to integrate students into research. One thing that is very unique for us is that we are very actively trying to send during their studies students to mobilities to some of the top places in the US and in Europe. So typically, if you're in the fourth year or so, you would go for half a year or 4 months to Chicago, Princeton, Columbia, Yale, some of those places, other places, and you would be supervised there by a local faculty for that time, and it would just help you to sharpen your research and find new perspectives. So overall, I think what we're providing, if you go to the PhD or master's program, is that we're trying to provide you very broad horizons. Whatever you will do after, if you are thinking beyond your own home country and you're thinking about international careers, this is the place to start, and that will get you prepared. And we have alumni or graduates in academia in the US, in Europe. Just this year, we had a student. She got offers from Vienna, Netherlands, and she ended up in Lisbon in Portugal. So, but we also have alumni graduates in the US. That's in academia. We also have alumni and graduates in international organizations, World Bank, IMF, OECD, and so on. We also have a lot of alumni in private sector and all sorts of positions. So in terms of what we are offering specifically, it's two programs. It's the PhD program and it's the Master in Economic Research program. The PhD program has a focus primarily on an academic career. So if that's something that you think could be attractive to you and do independent research, then the PhD program is probably the best way. It takes a little bit longer because, of course, you take courses and then you have to write a dissertation that usually takes several years. But if that's not for you, maybe you're not decided yet, or you don't want to spend the next 6 years, being at school, then we have the master's program, the Master in Economic Research, which is a bit more applied program. We're providing a background or expertise in economic analysis, so that if you want to go to a public sector or private sector and be an analyst and provide economic expertise in those sectors in a bit more applied way than the PhD program, then that's probably would be the right choice for you. But also, if you are not sure, and there are possibilities to start it with the master's program and then later on to move to the PhD program if you find that that's something that would fit you better. But overall, I think what we're offering is very attractive, and I hope that I'll see. I'm teaching in the first year in the PhD program, so I hope that I'll see some of you in the fall in my class. Okay. And with that, I guess I'll put on to.
Thank you, Marek. So my name is Stanislav. I changed my shirt since that time. Hi everyone. Hi there. Hi here. Actually, Marek spelled out almost everything I have to say. Yeah, but I'll try to maybe reiterate some important things and feature the distinctive kind of sides of CERGE-EI compared to other institutions, especially in Europe. As Marek said, we are following, and we have been following all the time from the start, an American model of an economic department. For better or for worse, everybody knows that in sciences in general and in economic science as well, the United States is the leader. So that's one of the reasons, if we take that model as a role model, we will be kind of better than an average. And we are actually in many respects. So what does the North American model advise? Well, several things. For you especially, it's important that the coursework is similar, has similar structure. The first year is kind of compulsory courses, microeconomics, and econometrics, what's called core sequences. In the second year, it's mostly elective. So you choose what to specialize in, which fields to take, and to become an economist of a certain type, right? This type or that type. And then after 2 years, if we are talking about PG studies, you devote yourself to dissertation only, right? Several years of dissertation. If you are going into masters, then you are writing your thesis in second year, right? In parallel with those courses. And courses in the master's program and in the PG program are now almost totally separated. They used to be kind of in parallel, big intersection overlap. Okay. So another thing which a North American model implies is so-called tenure system for the faculty. You don't need to know what it is yet. But this is a system which has internal incentive to make good publications for the faculty, right? So you can ask, what is it to us, right? Your publications. Your publications, so what? But for you, this first means that the better faculty publishes, then the higher the prestige of the department. So our prestige is, well, I would say enormous, but much higher than on average in Europe. And with respect to teaching, Marek already mentioned it, that it's interesting to hear the research, but this is not just only interesting, it's important that the instructors teach you on the verge of economic knowledge, or scientific knowledge. So you will get the knowledge on the frontier, not like in some places you take books from the last century and just, yeah. Another thing which is intrinsic to the American system, North American system, but we took it even to a higher level, exposure to research by the students. So, for example, well, from the first years of your studies, you're exposed to research and you are involved into research. Well, for masters, well, it's masters in economic research, right? There is a word research there. So even in the first year, you are already thinking about the topic of your future master thesis. You are looking around, you are choosing a supervisor, and together you are thinking about what topic you are comfortable and you are most interested to be working on. Okay, and it takes a year and a half to write this and defend this great master thesis. If you are in the PG program, you start a little bit later because you have to. This is more serious investment on the PhD level because you will be doing that for years, right? In the dissertation. So you need more time to look around on the economic science, right? On the fields, on the topics within fields, on the faculty who will be supervising you. But eventually, in the second year, you already start doing that. And by the end of the second year, you have to know what you want, what you will be doing, etc., etc. And we help you in that. In particular, we have a so-called research seminar sequence, which is not what I had in the University of Wisconsin when I was in PhD studies, on my PhD studies. So I was basically from the start on my own. So of course I have to find a supervisor and think about the topic. I will be working on the theme, the general theme, but then kind of go ahead and work on it. Right? Here we have a special course, this RMS, Research Methodology Seminar, where we are telling you, explaining to you how the economic science works, how the academics works in economics, how to write papers, how to try to publish papers, how to make presentations, where to get the ideas for your research, and so on, so on, so on, all of this. And then there is a practical part where you are presenting yourselves, right? And your mistakes are being corrected, etc., etc., etc. So you're getting very involved in the research. The faculty hires you to be research assistants, right? And when you are research assistants, usually not only you assist in research to this professor, but also you write papers together. And if it gets lucky, then you are published as co-authors with your professor. Maybe not your professor, maybe not your supervisor, but others. So when it comes to the PhD defense, usually a student already, a PhD candidate already has not only the chapters of the dissertation itself, but some chapters are published in international journals. And of course, it's much easier to defend than the dissertation. And then if you go with the academic life, then you already have publications and you have other chapters of dissertation close to publication. That's great. Right? So we didn't have, at Wisconsin, we didn't have anything like this seminar. So you just go to regular seminars, hear the presentations, and just learn by watching instead of learn by doing, right? So of course, this is much more effective. And for example, with students here, with my students here, we already published 3 papers in international journals, where I did publish with my former supervisor at Wisconsin, but the publication went out 10 years later after I graduated with PhD. Okay, but my first paper was published when I was a PhD, and my supervisor discovered that when the journal came out, right? When he saw the publication itself, and he didn't even know that I had it. I was trying to get published. So that's basically it. So most of my talk was about research, and this is exactly the research what the PhD program is about.
Thank you, Marek and Stanislav, for the introduction. Our next speakers are members of faculty, professors Jan Zápal and Ole Jann, and Deborah Novakova, the head of Academic Skills Center.
In which order?
In which order?
That order.
I'll start to show that at CERGE-EI a lot of things are possible. Right? So I'm here to kind of, I think, present, what our typical faculty members like. So I think it says, so I'm an assistant professor. I teach microeconomics. Briefly about my background, just to kind of prove Marek's point about international institutions. So I'm originally from Germany. I got my PhD at the University of Copenhagen in Denmark. I worked for a while at the University of Oxford, and then I came here. And also, so when I was leaving Oxford, I was kind of looking around. There are a lot of places, and CERGE-EI was really a place that I found very appealing because it has a great academic culture, it has a great atmosphere, and I'm really very happy that I came here. So then I should say maybe a little bit about my teaching. So I am currently teaching in the PhD program, and that is a mandatory course. So if you're taking the PhD, you will definitely meet me, and Teresa, who is currently in our PhD, has already met me. And so that course that I teach in the PhD program in the first year is about information economics. So we talk about, the economic theory of information. How can we think about interactions where people have different types of information? And so if you already have presumably some econ background, things like adverse selection, signaling, auctions, things like that will sound familiar to you. Of course, in the PhD, we do that at a relatively high level, at a higher formal and abstract level than in an undergrad degree or so. But we still also kind of keep it connected to applications and sometimes, you know, like funny applications. So for example, why do gangsters get tattoos? Well, there's a mathematical signaling model that can explain why they might, right? So we try to keep these things connected. I'm also in charge now of the topic of one of the microeconomics courses, or kind of the plan for one of the microeconomics courses in the master's, and that will be also information economics and thinking about a strategy, but that will be at a more applied level. And I think Jan will say a bit more about the master's program. Briefly about my research. So the two gentlemen before me have already talked a lot about research. So research is really kind of like at the core of this place. But I don't think, especially if you're interested in the master's program, I don't think that means that you have to be afraid that you can only come here if you're, you know, ready to write a PhD thesis or something like that. So, I mean, being connected to research also just means, as Stanislav said, that we're kind of connected to cutting edge, what is going on at universities all over the world, what are the latest ideas, what is everyone talking about in economics, and that directly influences what we teach. So briefly about my research, so I'm an economic theorist, so I think a lot about how, so I look out of the window and I see that it's not great weather today, so good choice coming here. I think a lot about how does society work, how do markets work, how does the economy work, and then I put that down in formal models that try to describe that. And at the moment, I'm working a lot on, for example, markets for data. How do markets for data work? I've worked in the past on, you know, questions of privacy, especially when people are online, and questions of how should we think about regulating companies like Facebook, Google, and so on. I am currently head of a research project here at CERGE-EI, supported by the Czech grant agency that's called Data Algorithms Power, Economic Theories of the Information Society. So that title kind of gives you a bit of an idea what I'm working on. It's also a title that allows me to do a lot of things because it's a very general title. So I'm very happy with that title for my research project. And I think that's all I have to say for now. And then maybe there'll be questions later and we can also talk one-on-one. So next is, oh, maybe Deborah next. Good.
So you've heard a lot about research and presenting and IMF and publications and things like that. And you could logically be thinking, oh, do I need to be able to write like that? And how would I stand up in front of an audience expecting this sort of presentations? And that's where our department comes in. We support all students at CERGE-EI in all years of their study. We are not economists. Don't even try to play one in the classroom. I wouldn't dare. But I have been reading papers in economics as part of my job for the last 22 years. I've read a few, maybe more than a few of you have. And we work in a field called economics rhetoric, which is an actual field of study that studies phraseology and things like that that are used in your field in publications. We also very often help with editing papers that are going for being submitted for publication and things like that. So our courses support you from beginning in your second semester here in both the master's and the PhD program. We focus on writing at first and then combined skills, so different sorts of presentations and different kinds of contexts in which you might want to present research and ideas and to communicate. So we are here to help support your English and also to build your skills and confidence in both written and in oral contexts. So we look forward to seeing all of you in our elementary classes too.
Okay, thank you. So let me be the last of the trio. As you see from the picture, I've changed more than just a shirt. My name is Jan Zápal.
Same jacket, right?
It's the same jacket, but so you heard a lot about the PhD program, and that's because we are, for a reason, we are really proud of the PhD program that we have been building for the last 30 years, and we are really proud of our achievements. Let me say just one thing about the PhD program. The PhD that I've done is the best thing that happened to my life. And you know why? Do you know what I'm thinking about when I wake up in the morning? Whatever I want to. My wife wakes up, she goes to work, and she's been told what to think about. okay? Because he works in the private business in the bank. And so this academic freedom is something that I really, really value. And if you really value the freedom to think about whatever you want, to do research, to do independent things, which sometimes can be hard. You've heard all these stories about how hard it is to publish papers and all those challenges. That is going to be present at any line of work that you do, but I really value the academic freedom.
Also, sleeping in is also great.
Exactly. But I don't want to talk about the PhD program that we are really proud of. I want to tell you what I think we're going to be proud of in 15 years. And I think that's going to be the master program. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this, and it doesn't say here, is I became an acting director of the master program. So I'm now in charge of revising it, changing it in so that it goes in a different direction, so that in 15 years we can be proud of that PhD program and about the students that graduate out of that program. So let me tell you just a little bit about the direction in which we're going. We're starting from the very end. We are thinking about once a person comes to do a master program and passes the 2 years, where that person is going to end up at. Okay, we are designing the program not to produce people who become hedge fund managers driving Lamborghinis. Okay, we are designing the master program such that we produce people who go and have a career close to policymaking, close to where things are happening, close to NGOs. They become maybe analysts or working with policymakers, somewhere where they feel like their career has an influence and has a meaning. Okay, so that's what we are doing, and the entire program, the schedule, the design, the architecture of the entire program, it has that in mind. So what we're going to be doing, or what we are doing, is what we are trying to equip students in the master program with is sort of an applied knowledge, not abstract theoretical knowledge, but some sort of applied knowledge that you can actually take and use for a good reason. We are trying to have courses that equip you with some sort of a hard knowledge, coding, analytical skills, data science basics, and so on. We're trying to have courses or equip students that provide you with soft skills, writing and speaking. So that's what Deborah is doing, and she's going to be giving me feedback after we finish here, because I haven't taken her course, so I'm still lacking. This is the part of the curriculum that you're going to see in the paper, but you're also trying to design a cloud of activities around that program. So one of the things that I'm working on now currently is to establish a network of connections with potential employees, government organizations, NGOs. They're working in some, they're working for causes that we value, and we would like to have an agreement with them such that our students could do internships in the middle of the first year. So that's going to be something that I think is going to be integral part of the course. Another thing that we are hoping to have or building towards having is some sort of a seminar series that is called Working with Policymakers, where we invite people who did work with policymakers actually, so that they can provide role models. They can provide their experience and their accounts of how does it feel working with policymakers and actually have an influence. And so we have a lot of connections both in the Czech Republic and abroad with people who have played these roles, and so we're hoping to bring them over and give you the students the chance to talk to these people, because I think this is for a master program that has an applied focus. This is very important. Because we are academics, we sit in these ivory towers, and our world looks slightly different than the world of the people who are actually working on the ground, trying to convince policymakers that certain things are just needed. Okay? And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Now, because I know that Deborah has an important meeting and she won't be able to wait to stay with us till the Q&A. If you have any questions concerning her department, the Academic Skills Center, please have them now. Everyone?
It's okay, I'll see you in your second semester of study.
Thank you, Deborah, for leaving us in your schedule. Change our setup a little bit. These my colleagues from Study Affairs Office, Eva Kellnerová and Markéta Tupá, and they will tell you all the information about the programs and the admission procedure, how to apply and everything.
Okay, thank you. It's again nice to see you all here. You see that I'm the important one because I can click my own slide. So I'm the only one that's the privilege right now here. So you heard a lot about the CERGE-EI, so about how our faculty are great, what is lying ahead of you, welcome and being a student here. So, but what the Study Affairs Office will provide you is with some help and support on the level that cannot be basically avoided. We will help you with your registration. We will help you with your visas. If you're a student in the PhD program, we will help you with how to get the financial support. So we'll basically take care of what each of every one of the student will get. We'll help you to find your assistantship if you will need one as the PhD students. And we will also, of course, help you to go through your admissions process because before you will get through this, you're not going to be a student at the CERGE-EI. So this is what the Study Affairs Office basically does for you. I have Markéta here with me, and she will be talking in more details about what admission process lies ahead. And let me just go more on the practical side. So you heard everything about it, and my job sometimes is to translate everything into what needs to be done. So you've heard about how you will be doing the research and all that, but achieve that, it just sometimes requires certain steps. So let me start with the Master in Economic Research program. So it's a 2-year applied research-oriented program, which is fully accredited by the Charles University under the institutional accreditation, which means when you will leave the CERGE-EI, your diploma will be recognized internationally and especially in the European Union, which is, of course, really important. Now, you've heard a lot about what needs to be done in those 2 years, so let me just summarize that. It's a 2-year program that basically, in order to finish it, the first year you have the core subjects. You've heard that. Macro, micro statistics, and then it repeats in the second semester, where you basically will start with the writing, choosing your supervisor, and preparing for writing your master thesis. You're successful in that, and there's a but here. You have to, during your first year, you have to earn the minimally 45 credits in order to start with the year number 2. So this is just the minimum requirement. Then in the second year, choosing the electives, looking at what you're interested, those vary every year. And then end your year number 2 ends with the defending of your master thesis. That means that we don't have, for those from the Czech schools, we don't have basically a state examination with some questioning and all that. So the state examination here serves defense of your master thesis. So this is just basically the Master in Economic Research and a shortcut what needs to be done. In all those years, the courses and the credits, as you cover them, you have to earn 120 credits. Here, every student at the Charles University has the right to take elective courses. You know, the CERGE-EI is a very small environment with great faculty members. You may have some interest outside of the CERGE-EI, and this is where the Charles University comes. You can take any course at any faculty of the Charles University as well here. So this is what we are offering as well. So that's the Master in Economic Research program. So now the second one is the PhD in Economics, and here is where it's complicated because we have not only again the Czech accreditation of the program, we also have a US charter. So the students are basically leaving here with the 3 diplomas in the end if you successfully make it towards the graduation. The first 2 years where you are dedicating and studying, as you've been described, again, the core courses, and then when you are specializing, before starting your own research, you basically are gaining, if you fulfill the conditions, a master's degree, MA degree, which we call MA on the way. So that's the diploma number 1. When you successfully finish, and here is a time limit in which you can do your PhD studies, it's basically 8 years is the maximum length, but we hope that you'll just be quicker than that. So then you're having a Czech degree, and then you're also having a US degree, which basically gives you 3 degrees during your PhD studies. So again, now, let me just show you how does it look like again in the breakdown as you've heard all the stuff about the research. The first 2 years, again, you're going into the classes, the core stuff, which is similar to the Master in Economic Research program in the nature, not that the requirements, of course, are different here. The first year ends with your core general examination, and then second year, again, going into an elective, choosing what you wanted to do, focusing, starting on the research, and then second year ends with the field general exams. These are very important because the successful passing those 2 types of examination basically decides if you stay with the CERGE-EI or
or you will leave with the MA on the way. And then the research actually starts. The specialized use of the study starts in the year number 3, where you will be for the first time presenting your research among excellent faculty members. Everything else you've heard, so about how we are supervising you, what basically the dissertation workshop, and ends with the defense. So I'm not going to be repeating that. I'll be here if you need to hear more on the practical stuff and all that. So, and I'm going to hand over to Markéta.
Thank you. So now let's focus on the entry requirements. So you can apply for a PhD in economics if you already have your MA degree, and for MA if you have your BA degree, or if you expect to obtain this degree by September 2024, the latest. It is also recommended to have strong mathematical skills. You need to prove that you are able to communicate in English sufficiently. I will speak about this on the next slide. And it is also recommended to have some background in economics. It doesn't mean that if you studied or if you are studying something else, you won't be accepted. But please bear in mind that you need to have some mathematical skills. For example, such applicants in the case of PhD can be recommended for the preparatory semester. Okay, now let's move. So you need to submit a number of documents before application. So first you need to create your account on our website, and then you start to fill out all the information. You can also work on your application for a longer time and just save your progress. You need to upload your up-to-date CV. Please take note that this document shouldn't be longer than 2 pages. You also need to upload the statement of motivation. This document shouldn't be longer than 4,000 characters, which means including spaces. And if you need some tips, you can look at our website on the web page how to apply. There are some tips from our academic skills center on how to write a good motivation letter. You also need to attach copies of your BA and MA diplomas, and also transcripts. These documents should be in Czech or in English language. In the case they are not in these languages, please attach also official English translation. And also please upload copies and not just photos of these documents. And then the proof of English proficiency. You need to provide this document in a case you don't come from a majority native English-speaking country, namely it is Australia, an English-speaking territory of Canada, Ireland, the United States, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Malta. We usually get questions about whether if you studied in English, it could be a proof of English proficiency, and the answer is that unless the studies were undertaken in some of the listed countries, it can't. So the proof of English proficiency is a result of internationally recognized exam such as IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge exam, or Duolingo. The exam shouldn't be older than 2 years, but in the case of Cambridge exam, it can be also older. What concerns scores, in the case of Duolingo, you should have at least 115 points, and certificates with lower scores are not accepted. In the case of IELTS and TOEFL, it is recommended to have at least 6.5 in the case of IELTS, and in the case of TOEFL, at least 90 points.
So all of this is also on the website, right?
Yes.
So this is not kind of some admissions test where you have to remember everything. Right?
No.
So this will be, sorry.
It's the most frequently asked question.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
Okay, and then the letters of recommendation, you should have 2 or ideally 3 such letters. They must be sent directly by the referees to us. The referees can't send these letters via email. There are 2 ways how they can send them to us. Via post in a sealed envelope with a signature over the seal, or through the online letter upload interface on our website. After you submit your application, I do formal control, and in the case anything is missing, I will let you know. And I think that's it from me.
No, we need to now mention the most important thing, which we don't want to forget. What is the deadline for admission, which is for the BOS program? It's the March 31st, 2024. It just goes by the midnight. After that, I'm sorry guys, next year. Hopefully it's not gonna be the case of this group, so.
Okay, thank you, Eva and Markéta. And before we start the Q&A, I would just like to say that this is not your last chance to see us and talk to us. Next week we have several open classes. You can join them again in person or online. And in March there will be 3 webinars for applicants. The webinars are held by Study Affairs Office. So if you missed anything today, you will have a chance to speak to Eva and Markéta again, and they will help you with the application. And the details of these events can be found on our website, CERGE-EI.cz/for-study applicants. And now,
Can I have a question?
Sure.
So the experimental economics lab is Michal Bauer.
yes.
Okay, so let me try to really recommend. So one of our colleagues, Michal Bauer, is an experimental economist who's been doing a lot of development experiments, lab in the field. He has published a paper in Nature on trying to get people to vaccinate. He's an amazing teacher. He's done amazing research with a lot of impact and so on. And so he's giving just a open class, so anyone can show up. So that's a great resource. The quantitative economic history that's Christian Oxner. So Christian has been doing a lot of research on economic history. So for example, he has a paper on Turkish invasion to Vienna 500 years ago, and how that event is used as an argument in Austrian elections nowadays. So there's an experiment, there's an applied microeconomic paper in there, and so he's been doing a lot of very interesting research in economic history. So they're both amazing teachers. They're both great colleagues, and we love to have we're lucky to have them. Who's the labor economist? That's Mariela. Okay, so that's a more standard course that you find more or less in any PhD curriculum. But Mariela gives a heart into that, and so I would recommend that as well. Sorry.
Thank you.
So these are also available online. People can.
Yes.
Okay. So not just people here, but also.
And keep in mind that these are second-year elective classes. So if you don't keep in touch with the material, that's normal. In a couple of years, you'll understand everything.
So if you go to CERGE-EI.cz for study applicants, there is a link how to join, or the times and all the details. Thank you. And now it's just time for your questions. You can ask anyone. We also have our students here, Tom and Teresa. Tom is in first year, Teresa second year. You can ask them as well. So maybe I start with a question in the chat. And I think it's a question for you, Markéta. As part of the application process for MA in economic research, I understand that candidates are required to submit copies of their bachelor diploma and complete transcript with official verification. I would like to inquire if it is possible to initially upload my documents without going through the verification process, and then upon admission to the program, proceed with the verification and submit the documents via post.
It is possible to submit the verified documents after the applicant is accepted.
And we will do also follow up on that. So our wonderful colleague Teresa will always notify anyone when there is a notification question what needs to be done. So for the terms of the application, we can repeat again that all we need are just the copies in the PDF format uploaded to our system. So that's all.
Yeah, if I following the same questions, I submitted my diploma and that was certified by the University of Economics.
Yes,
Czech Republic.
yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's
So
perfect.
just to be sure if there's something else
No,
needed
no.
time so I can
No.
do some additional paperwork. Okay.
No, this is perfectly fine. That will do the job.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, I was just curious about the preparatory semester and if this is something that's also open to master's students as well.
Any student who just goes basically through the admission process and is accepted as admitted has a right to go and let's say even just to visit the prep semester. So
Further on the preference of master students, when we get accepted and we register for the process, is it mandatory for us to attend all the classes and then do the exams as for PhD students, or is it?
no, for you it's just like more really wanted to see what's going on, what the PhD students will be facing and all that. So you're more than welcome to join the prep.
Can I just follow up? So I'm going to be actually teaching 2/3 of the prep. The lecture, so the timing is not ideal because it's not exactly before the beginning of the academic year, but it's more in May and in June. But the lectures are going to be recorded, and so especially for the master's students, if you're just interested in learning the material, or looking through the material and looking through the lectures, you can do it at your leisure at any random time. So if you get bored during the summer, you can watch me.
There's like one more question in the chat, but it's quite specific. Anyway, we should answer it. So the question is: I got admission last year for the MA Development Economics program, but I had to defer the program to this year. Now there are changes to admission rules in Czechia for Nigerian students. I hear there is no more students mode, and only a 3-year gap is permitted. What happens to someone like me? I was already granted the admission, yet to get a fresh admission letter, though, because I was told to reapply. Would the visa be granted to me to come study?
It's just basically for the students who already first, so it's just like you just have to formally reapply. So it doesn't mean that you have to go through the admissions process again. So the deferment that you've been offered last year basically stands. So what needs to be done is right now reapply so we know that you are willing to come, and then my colleague Teresa will help you and answer the visa questions in more details.
Oh, there is more. Okay, Carla. Good afternoon. My referees told me that the link to upload applicant references letters is not working. We fixed that already?
Okay, so yes, just send us a note and then we'll definitely fix that. So if you can please send the email to the PhD at CERGE-EI, so then we will be fixed that. So no problem, just let us know.
Okay, the next question. Thank you for the great panel presentations. You're welcome. I wanted to know what funding opportunities are available for MA students.
Yeah, currently there are no stipends available for the Master in Economic Research students. However, so what you have to take is that you are not paying any tuition. So this is just how that is, because otherwise, if you would be studying in the Czech Republic in any other English-speaking program, you would be paying the tuition. So what we are currently offering to help our students, that we support the students when it comes to the insurance, and also if there's as a benefit that we offer is to counseling if it's necessary. So that's just all that we can currently offer in the Master in Economic Research program.
Excellent teaching as well.
Yeah, excellent teaching. Yeah, in terms of the finances and so on. Yeah.
Okay, another question. Hello to you. In my country, for several years, bachelor's degrees have not been issued for students. Nevertheless, we receive certificate transcripts. Is it possible to apply with these certificates?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's the answer for Cedric. And the last questions. if we have study master in English, is it necessary to prove our efficiency in English again? Yeah, I think we answered that.
Yeah, we've answered that, so. But we can repeat it anyway. So there are specific countries that you do not need to provide with the proof of English proficiency. And Markéta wrote them, so we can also find them on the website.
I'll get a question from Ms. Zápal, if I may. For the Master in Economic Research program, I looked kind of at the syllabus. You also spoke about the coding that is involved in the Master program. Which languages do you do coding? When you do the data analysis, data analysis?
This is not said yet, but there are two things that are for sure going to be there: Python and R. We're thinking about some other programs, and so I'm calibrating this. I'm talking to potential employers, and I'm calibrating relative to their needs, right? So we as researchers. So Marek works in MATLAB. I work in MATLAB Mathematica. Stanislav works in all kinds of econometric packages, but these are typically not used and not needed when you actually go in and have a job at the central bank or Ministry of Finance. And so I'm being told that R and Python, one reason being the fact that they're for free, but they're also powerful, and there's a community around them, and so this is for sure going to be there.
Perfect, thank you.
Alex?
I have another question regarding the research. There is some sort of incentive economically when if it is successfully admitted to get published. So the students can have this additional incentive to go to this research.
Yeah, probably it's a question to me, to everybody actually. Yeah, we have incentives that we provide. For example, if you're publishing, this is not a publication in a journal, but we have a series of so-called working papers, which are not yet go to journals, right? But they are still here, but they are already kind of referred by our faculty. So we do provide additional stipend, boost to a stipend if you. Well, actually, there is a whole system there of scores, right? This gives you an extra score and more chances to end up with a higher stipend. Not only, and of course, if you publish in a real journal, a real publication, then the same way, yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Thank you.
Let me just add. So for the PhD program, there's one high-level incentives. So suppose that you come here, you publish 2-3 good papers, you're going to get an amazing job after that, right? So Marek just mentioned a student of ours, actually a student of his, Marta, that is getting an amazing job, and that's because that is because during the PhD, she published. But we will not admit you know that, like you're lost. Anyway. Just clarify, so much you guys are one of our colleagues, and so and so she's gotten an amazing job, and the reason why she has gotten that amazing job is because of the publication. So yeah.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. No questions in the chat either. So there are no more questions. This is the end of the virtual part of our open day. Thank you all for joining us today, and I hope to see you at the end of at the beginning of the academic year. For those who are with us here in person, you now have a chance to explore the building. Tom and Teresa, our students, will be your guides. And we will meet soon again in room number 1 for the coffee break.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here.